ومستدام. تفاصيل أكثر مع الأستاذ باترك فيليب رئيس وحدة القياسات الاتحاد الدولي للنقل البري.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear professionals. It's a true pleasure for me to be here in the 6th edition of the Supply Chain Conference. And it's true that the topic for today is how we can leverage data and artificial intelligence to drive safety, efficiency, and sustainable mobility of people and road freight transport. And I will try in a short time to provide some insight on how we are working in order to set the pillars in order to drive our industry and our societies forward. So IU is the World Road Transport Organization, so I will specifically focus on land transport, knowing that obviously in such supply chain, other transport modes have certainly a key place. Our activity spans across more than 75 countries today. And we are very closely working with governments and the private sector in true public-private partnership to make sure that mobility and logistics benefits our society. I can only illustrate that by the recent work, notably that is taking place in Saudi Arabia, by making sure that facilitation of transit time at border is improved, and notably the true collaboration that we have with ZATCA, and notably 2 weeks ago in a major conference that has been highlighting the true progress made here. Another aspect, working with the UN, IU being the industry representative, notably on the transport of dangerous goods and the famous ADR convention, which is setting the global standards for transport of dangerous goods by road. So that's very much how we are working in unveiling our actions, and I will shed some more light on some specific areas that we are currently conducting. And those actions, they are supporting what we say, working in those true partnership in order that together we are the leader in connecting society with safe, efficiency, and green mobility and logistics. So let's look at safety first. But before being able to address the key element of safety, our work has been focusing for a number of years in identifying what are the main causes of accidents in commercial road transport. Collecting data is absolutely key in order to be able to direct our actions on the main causes that are causing those distress. Notably, when we speak about road safety in commercial road transport, we understand that the human factor is the key element that we need to address. Now, when we speak about the human factor and road safety, we have some elements that we need to address. And notably, those elements fall on the three main families. First, we have distraction. Distraction is one of the main causes of accidents, which is about 30% of all accidents involving commercial vehicles. The second cause is what we call decision error. Decision error accounts for also about 30% of these causes, and notably they are explained by speeding. Speeding is one of the main causes that will fall under that decision error. But it's not only speeding. There are other elements that we can consider. And the third one is what we call physical impairness. So that's when people are not in the right control of the vehicle, maybe because of fatigue, maybe because of the use of psychotrops. So that's where we need to act. So on the one side is getting the right knowledge and skills to those professionals that are operating more and more complex tasks. We certainly think about the drivers when we speak about land transport, operating vehicles that get more and more complex, equipped with more technologies, and certainly with the need to comply with advanced regulations. But training by itself will not be sufficient. You also need to make sure that you can witness that they can demonstrate professional competence. Hence, the setup of comprehensive examination process which are able to witness the true methodology, how drivers are conducting their task are absolutely key. And ultimately, certification in order to recognize that professional excellence. Now, all that needs also to be supported by instruments that help to collect that information, instruments that will be feeding in order to be making sure that ultimately, when you work with drivers, when you work with transport professionals, you benefit from digital dashboards that are clearly illustrating where are the strengths and where are the weaknesses at the driver, at the business unit, at the company level, helping companies manage their risk, figuring out where they need to take actions based on informed decision. And here we are entering the gate of AI, because AI without data doesn't exist. So are we stopping here? Certainly not. That's where we see the future when we speak about safety. Being able to generate very specific situations where you can expose the professional in order to be able to handle and simulate very specific tasks, for instance, how the behavior will apply in case of emergency risks. When we speak about efficiency, as I mentioned before, efficiency in transport, and particularly when we speak land transport, and even more so when we speak about international road transport, we have one factor to combat. It is idle time. We know that we get impacted, businesses get impacted because the vehicles, the cargoes, the people are not moving, they're idling. And that idling time has a major impact on the efficiency of the businesses. So that's also something that we are working at, looking to work on a regional basis and on a national basis, how to maximize and optimize the trade flows. We know and witnessing the dynamic that we can see in the GCC, where there is an extreme dynamic in terms of growth, looking into a 5 billion growth in the period 2023 to 2030, which can even be more exacerbated if we are making sure that we are diminishing the idle time. Now, when we speak idle time, we can link it as well to the efficient use of energy, because a vehicle that is idling is consuming energy. So the less the vehicle will be idling, the less energy will be used. And there is no value on vehicle idle time, absolutely no value. So it is extremely important that we can focus in diminishing the idle time, hence diminishing CO2 emission. And already today, for instance, when we speak about transit and the appliance of international standard, we can witness that we have managed to reduce idle time by 30%, meaning 30% in emission savings. Now, if we are transiting that to innovative vehicles with alternative energies, notably if we look to hydrogen or electric, well, there is not such concept as idle time, because basically you are pumping your energy into the battery. So the impact is even more important. Hence, you can reduce that factor by a ratio from 9 to 1, again, if you implement efficient logistics. And that brings me to the green element, the decarbonization, which is the third and last topic I would like to briefly speak about. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has an objective to become net zero by 2060. And certainly, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is very well placed in order to develop alternative energies. However, what we understand as well, there is a transition that needs to happen, and that transition will need to take time. Now, you have been working in order to establish for our industry a roadmap in order to help that transition. And on the right-hand side, we can see that certainly the future will be made of alternative fuel. And already yesterday, there have been several examples where we've been speaking on the benefit that we will foresee on the new technologies. However, as of today, in many cases, they are either still experimental and they are very expensive. So we have a challenge. Now, that transition shift is something that we are also working at. In between, we can see that we also have what we call efficient measures. We speak about the efficiency of drivers, we speak about the efficiency of vehicles, we speak about the efficiency of logistics, and certainly collective mobility. Just witnessing the opening of the metro in Riyadh is certainly a key driver supporting the move towards better collective mobility. But in order, again, to be benefiting from true solution and true recommendation for the industry, we need to understand what is the state of play. We need to understand where we can become more efficient, where we need to be, and where we will benefit from alternative energies. So we need to collect that information, notably by collecting information from the vehicle, from the logistic and supply chain as they're functioning today, from the tires you equip your vehicle with, but also from alternative energies. What are the energies data flows? How much do they cost? Are they available? And in which quantity? So all that information we are integrating in our solution, which is collecting all that data in order to provide true recommendation to transport operators, but also to government in order to make sure that they can make informed decisions. And just 1 month ago, we've been releasing the first set of results. Quite interestingly, for instance, as of today, the best alternative energy for Italy will be CNG. However, when we look for Germany or when we look for Poland, it will be battery electric vehicles. So that really helps to get those roadmaps to those companies that need to find alternatives and future investments according to the type of energy that is available and the cost associated to it. And that's how we are looking to the global roadmap. We understand, as we say, that we will be figuring out pathways in order to decarbonize our industry. And again, on the one side, we have alternative energies, and that's where we will be able to gain in efficiency gains. And coupled to that, we'll have the efficiency gains. We will be benefiting as of today. What we know is today that 10% of CO2 reduction equals 10% of energy saved. And those 10% of energy saved is also 10% of cost reduction on the spending of your energy. So it's a direct relationship. Now, when companies are approaching us and ask, what would be today the best solution for me in order to improve my overall CO2 emission footprint and to reduce the use of energy, certainly one of the elements that I've been highlighting before has a direct impact, is the efficiency of drivers. Efficient eco drivers can reduce by up to 15% the energy used. Obviously, they need to be trained, but they also need to be monitored in order that you can figure out how they are benefiting from those gains. But here again, there are solutions that exist in order to help these companies to visualize the performance of those drivers, where they're doing good, where they need improvements. And again, such solutions we are working at, notably with some partners here in Saudi Arabia that are already made that investment and the lead in order to get towards a more efficient driver management and benefiting from such solution to improve the operation, but also ultimately to improve safety, efficiency, and overall sustainability. Thank you very much for your attention.